Okay, hi. I'm talking to a Muslim called Shanur, and he's accusing. He for some reason he thinks that with the Bible, Jesus is a bastard rapist, and he says the reason when he said because Jesus was a product of incest, and I asked him, well, how is he a product of incest? Because if Mary, that means Mary, his mom, must have. He said she was a direct product of incest. So that means Mary, Jesus's mom, was screwed by either a brother or a dad or her dad. And I'm trying to get him to tell me how Jesus is a product of incest, thus making him a rapist. For some reason, he seems to think that if you're a product of incest, you are a rapist. Anyway, I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time because I feel like the guy is kind of, not all there. But anyway, um, but in the process, um, Islam is exposed here, so I'll make these videos anywhere. So anyway, when I do his words, I'll be doing this side of my face. Doing mine, I'll be doing this side. Plus, when I'm doing his, I'll be using an Arabic, mock Arabic accent. Okay. You do that because you know very well that Jesus is a rapist. Where in the Quran or even the Bible does it say Jesus is a rapist, and that Christians know that? It's like them saying that Christians know that Jesus is that Muhammad's in the Bible, something ridiculous like that. You say he's a product of rape, thus making him a rapist. How was he a product of rape, and how does that make him a rapist? How come you never answer me here? And that Muslims are not making this up. Where is Jesus a rapist for being a product of it, like you said? The problem with you Christians is that you spend most of your time watching Harry Potter than reading your Bible. By golly, I think you're right. Still though, how is being a product of rape automatically make you a rapist? And how is Jesus a product of rape? If you read the Quran of how Mary became pregnant, it does sound like a violation, like a rape. But how is it a rape in the Injil of how she became pregnant? And since he says it's incest, well, who was it in her family that got her pregnant, So I say no, it's actually the opposite reaction because there is no evidence of Jesus being a rapist. But we don't lose our senses and run like you did as soon as I accused Jesus of rape. If so, am I running now? And you claim here, quote, it's actually the opposite. Of what? No, my friend, it's not the opposite. When you were accusing me of partnering, I never talked about Bible, but ever since I called Jesus rapist, you have been busy trying to divert to Quran and Hadith. Who was the one who said Jesus was a product of rape, and that made him a rapist? Yeah, a product of rape, making him a rapist. Then you demanding where you said that it sounds like you are doing the running here. That shows you fear something about Jesus might get exposed. I've talked with atheists and Muslims for years, and if they haven't found anything on Jesus now to keep me from being a person in the book, I doubt they will find anything now. However, thanks to the Hadith, we know the evil sexual monster Mo was. That he screwed a 9-year-old and stuff like that. Again, how is Jesus a rapist? You say because, quote, you say because, and that makes him a rapist? When did I say that Jesus was a rapist? Because he was a product of rape. A day ago, in this thread, you said Jesus is a product of incest. Long after, God forbid, it after Adam, your Jesus is a rapist because he's a product of it, unquote. Are you going to take that back? Sounds like you are. Can you make up your mind, O slave of the best of deceivers? Doesn't respond. I say, I'm keeping a copy of this thread to make into videos. We'll see if people believe. We'll see if people believe what you say. This is the second time you are saying this. Third time now. It seems like saying that gives you some confidence boost and peace of mind. It helps. If that is why you do that, please say that some more times. I'll be making a video of this dialogue, but if you are nice, maybe I won't. I won't voice your words with the ugly side of my face. I'm doing it with the ugly side of my face because you can tell he never did. So anyway, yeah, okay. You are most welcome. Deep in your blind heart, you are hoping that I will be scared hearing that. He said, this doesn't say scared, he says sacred. Deep in your blind heart, you are hoping that I will be sacred hearing that. Sacred? I think he means scared. And stop exposing a rapist Jesus. I thought that was your job. Poor boy. How hopeless and desperate. Trying to use fear now. No, I'm not trying to use fear. Stating fact. Check out some of my videos where I've done this sort of thing before. In fact, I was thinking of reminding you of making one, in case you forgot about it. Good that you remember it. Will do. I'm thinking of giving you an Indian accent. I never have done that before with a Muslim. Of course, I decided not to, as you can tell. By the way, a day ago in this thread, you said Jesus is a product of incest. There you go. I said Jesus is a product of incest. Right. And you said something like he is the quote product of rape. Thus, he is a rapist. Where I keep on asking, how does that make him a rapist? Even if he were a product of rape, you know. And I said, quote, because he is a product of it, meaning Jesus is a doer of illicit sex rape, because he is a product of illicit sex incest. And I ask you again, how does being a product of rape make you a rapist? Are you saying that Muslims that obey Quran 424 and get married women pregnant through rape are making little future rapists themselves? I actually thought it won't be hard for you to get what I meant. Again, how does being a product of rape make you a rapist? Also, how is Jesus a product of rape? If you go by how Allah got Mary pregnant, okay, that sounds like rape. But how is Jesus a product of rape in the Injil? Scripture, please. Doesn't answer me, so I'll go back a couple days where I say this. Are you going to take that back? No, as long as I know I am sure of what I said. Again, how does being a product of rape make you a rapist? Also, how is Jesus a product of rape? If you go by how Allah got Mary pregnant, okay, that sounds like rape. But how is Jesus a product of rape in the Injil scripture, please? You don't have to answer to this inbox message. He tried to run off into the inbox because he doesn't want to have it exposed to your in comment form. So he tried to get me to talk to him in inbox. But anyway, yeah, so he says this. You don't have to answer this in inbox. Read it full and understand what I have to say. Hey, how come you're hiding in inbox? What are you afraid of? He tried to run off into inbox, so I pointed out, I say, hey, how come you are hiding in inbox? What are you afraid of? You do know that I'll be adding this to a comment to my video with you to keep you from saying that I'm lying with you in inbox, don't you? You know? That's why I decided to put the stuff in that he's trying to run off to inbox in comment form. It's sad, really, that we in the 21st century are forced to share a world with some bunch of deaf, dumb, and blinds by the name of Christians. You know, I'd rather share the world with them than those who think, quote, a painful doom awaits them if they don't act like the two Muslim Chechen brothers who set off bombs in the Boston Marathon, or those two Nigerian Muslims who ran over the British soldier and started hacking him to death. I'd rather live with those, quote, blind Christians. With him, no amount of persuasion, logic, and request works to teach them some manners and etiquettes of arguing. Don't tell me. I bet you don't like the expression, quote, patootie in the air for salat, true? I feel bad realizing that when we are to debate with a Christian, we have to teach them some civilized way of talking in a public forum. Talking about calling the kettle black. Man. I call that calling the kettle black. Do you know how many times Muslims have called me names and told me to, quote, take my meds? How come Muslims never live up to this, quote, etiquette of which you speak when conversing with me, you know? How come they never do? That, in a civilized debate, we always have to stick to one topic at a time. You know, I don't debate people. I interject my thoughts with theirs to hold up a mirror to them, to try to get them to think about what we are both saying. But the Christians never seem to learn. Learn what? How I'm changing topics anyway? Yeah. Learn what? How am I changing topics anyway? You said I was changing topics. How am I changing topics? You thought I won't understand the games you Christians play. True. I don't. Your deceptive trick. Your trick is to throw as many questions as you can and throw as many topics as you possibly can. No. I only question in the hopes of getting a Muslim to think and question as to which could produce other topics if the Muslim chose to do so. It is you, O slave of the best of deceivers, that would love to go off into other topics if it could keep you from, say, admitting you believe Mary is a sister or daughter of Allah, being that you said Jesus is a, quote, direct product of incest, making him a rapist. It is you who divert and go off topic and try to make more topics, like you're attempting here with this inbox thing. So, when we start with one topic initially, we end up discussing with 50 other new topics. They don't have to be new topics. All you have to do is be truthful towards the questions I present when I hold the mirror up to you through questioning. It's like you are forcing me to stand on two pots. Then you add another one and tell me to stand on that too. No. It's like me asking. It's me asking you questions due to what you say by not being clear or using taqiyya, lying for Allah. If you were clear and truthful, I would be asking questions. How it works. Go for it. And that makes the Muslim atheist confused of what and which question to answer to. How you wish. Did you know that you tried to do the same thing by interjecting your thoughts with mine? I have the thread to prove it. But guess what? I was able to answer your questions. I was able to keep it short by being to the point. No taqiyya on my part. Again, if you were truthful and didn't try to use Muslim spin taqiyya, the thread wouldn't be so long. It's like fighting an empty-handed boxer with an AK-47. And in the meantime, while he is still struggling with the confusion created... How are my questions confusing? They weren't, as this video now proves. His original accusation gets drowned in the sea of, quote, new questions, unquote, you threw at him. The thing is, they don't confuse you. For I know you're not an idiot. You just don't want to answer them because you know that whatever you say has to be the truth, or I'll bring forth evidence to prove you lied to me. You just can't stand the fact that I force you to think and be careful with your taqiyya. Lying for Allah. How it benefits you? How? Once you get the Muslim atheists busy answering those new questions, it gets them into a new debate based on those new questions. It could, but again, if they were to be to the point and didn't lie, which creates questions in me, again, comment threads would be short with me. I think I'll again, making them forget the original question, which was against your Christian faith. Oh, really? Give an example.